Hello everyone. I am Esther and I'm going to be a judge in this round. Congratulations on getting to the finals. Wishing you the best of luck.
Joy?
Hi everyone, my name is Joy. I'll be one of the panelists pronounced she her. Congratulations on making it this far and good luck to you all. Looking forward to hearing all of your speeches.
Raihan?
Hello everyone, this is Raihan. I'll be one of your judges. Best of luck to all the teams and congratulations for making it to the finals for this event.
Alright then. So, Orgom, do we get a signal to start the debate? All judges are complete now? Orgom? Will the recording now start? Okay, cool. Since we've given the signal to start, right? Once again, on the motion on the use of AI and the creation of art to be a threat to authenticity and uniqueness of artistic impression. To start this debate, prop one, you're here.
Thank you for that. I will be beginning my speech in 3, 2, 1. Imagine a world where art, music, and literature are not confined to the boundaries of human creativity, but are amplified, enriched, and redefined by the limitless potential of artificial intelligence. Today, we stand at the precipice of a new era in the creative arts, where algorithms and other innovations are challenging our very understanding of what it means to be creative. Are we witnessing the emergence of AI as a creative entity? The problem at hand is the persistent doubt and skepticism surrounding the creative abilities of artificial intelligence in the domains of art, music, and literature. A creative entity refers to an entity or being, whether human or artificial, that is capable of producing novel, original, and imaginative ideas, as well as concepts and works. This entity exhibits the ability to think beyond already established patterns and the ability to generate innovative solutions and manifest unique expressions in various domains such as art, music, and literature. Creativity is the quality or state of being creative. It is the mental and intellectual capacity to generate new and valuable ideas, concepts, and creations. It involves the synthesis of existing knowledge, the exploration of new connections, and the production of something that is both meaningful and novel. Now, this skepticism is primarily driven by the misconception that AI lacks the capacity for genuine creativity. People often attribute creativity solely to human consciousness and emotions, leading them to question the creative abilities of AI. The people affected by this include traditional artists and creatives, as well as audiences and consumers. The ramifications of such an issue include the expanding of creative horizons, in a sense, as embracing AI as a creative entity can lead to innovative collaborations where human artists work along AI to explore new ideas and styles. AI's role as a creative tool is undeniable. Already at status quo, it empowers artists, musicians, and writers to explore new horizons, streamline their creative processes, and collaborate in innovative ways. The act of interpreting AI generation is a form of personal expression in of itself, since human audiences bring their own personal biases and expressions. I will now move into arguments. Argument 1. Artificial intelligence creates things that are sometimes out of the realm of what a human would come up with on their own, since it does not have biases or physical constraints like fatigue. AI's creative process is driven by analyzing vast datasets and recognizing patterns. Thus, this allows AI to draw inspiration from a wide array of sources, resulting in very diverse creative outputs. In addition to this, AI operates without personal biases or emotional influences that can potentially limit human creativity. This impartiality allows it to explore unconventional ideas and concepts without any hesitation. Finally, AI can transcend the boundaries of traditional artistic genres and styles by seamlessly combining elements that humans may consider incompatible with one another. This boundaryless exploration often results in novel and unexpected creative outputs. In addition to this, AI has the capacity to identify trends that may not be immediately evident or apparent at all to human creators. This data-driven approach allows AI to draw inspiration from, as I said, a wide range of sources. This often leads to outputs that challenge artistic norms and conventions. In conclusion, this argument effectively demonstrates that artificial intelligence possesses a remarkable capacity for creativity that extends beyond the boundaries of human imagination. AI's boundaryless exploration of artistic genres and styles results in novel and unexpected creative outputs. Collectively, these elements showcase AI's dynamic and open-ended creative potential. In a world where innovation and diversity in creative expression are highly valued, the work of AI is a valuable source of groundbreaking and boundary-pushing ideas, which we believe will enrich the creative landscape. I'm proud to present. Thank you very much.
Second speaker, if you have final remarks. For the next speaker, you have 1 minute to prepare. Or 1 minute starts now. For 1 minute is up. First speaker of opposition, here.
Am I audible?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll start my speech in 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, picture this. You're an artist trying to make a living while doing what you love, writing prose and literature. Then one day, Google invent an AI that is capable of intelligently creating any form of art. Now, you have to compete with something that isn't even human, that derives no satisfaction whatsoever from its work, but rather churns out hundreds of pieces in literature in minutes. The world's most satisfying jobs have now become redundant because of one piece of technology can do stuff faster than humans. Now, in this debate, we side opposition will prove to you how artificial intelligence does qualify for being a creative entity. And even if it did, it would be a disastrous to the art community. Firstly, a few points of rebuttals. The characterization prop the site prop gave us did, if anything, undermines its stake to say that AI can be an art entity. They also didn't outline specifically what being creative entity meant in the real world. So we on site opposition will provide you a counter definition. So definition of a creative entity. And it's an entity or a group of people that come together to achieve a certain purpose. In this case, produce creative works like art. We concede that in other industries, in accounting and in programming, AI would qualify as an entity, albeit with harmful effects to those industries or job markets. But the nuance in this debate is the term creative. Creativity in and of itself is a social trait attributed to humans who possess a unique ability to think differently. We tell you that creativity is inherently human, while artificial intelligence is simply intelligent at coupling all existing info and organizing it into something else. Therefore, it does not deserve to be called creative. Site government admit this. When they say AI would not be able to have human emotion or specific cultural thinking paths, it is because of different humans thinking. Do we have different cultures or varying arts that is unique and serve the purpose of that culture? We see the art industry as being unique in this way, and we should celebrate that. The model we present to you today, panel, is that AI should be kept as a supplementary tool to artists and not as a replacement. Because inside government's world, since artificial intelligence is a creative entity, you would prefer it over humans entities because we acknowledge that is way more efficient at organizing information. Now, our first argument would further strengthen the points above. That is the fact that art in of itself is a human endeavor. Unlike other industries, which simply run on a model of achieving certain results in the most efficient way possible, art is nothing without the human touch. It is the human touch that makes art count as art. Without it, it is simply just work. And we believe this characterization of art is important to uphold. People gravitate towards art not just because they're good at it, it's because they like doing it. This one exists on site government world because artists to make a living as an artist because companies pay them to design things. With the existence of AI creative entity, companies can simply use that entity straight away. But on our world, you might have artists that simply use AI as a tool, just like how other artists use many other technological developments, notably Google research engine. But now companies can say they use an artist's work because the artist is the entity the company employed. And there was actual skill and effort behind the creation of the art. Because of all of these reasons, we believe artificial intelligence loses all stake at being called a creative entity. However, we should accept the term artificial intelligence. Thank you.
I thank the speaker for the final remarks. For the next speaker, you have 1 minute to prepare. Your first minute starts now. Your 1 minute is up. Calling upon the top two here.
All right, am I audible?
Yep.
All right, starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. In our world, we are not saying that we are eradicating all human artists. We are merely saying that we will consider artificial intelligence as a creative entity, right? Op frames this world as if we are eradicating human artists, as if we are purging their jobs. And as our artists, writers, and creators, people, they thrive on their unique perspectives, emotions, and visions, right? AI is just a separate entity. It's just another artist. It's just another writer. It's just another creator. We are not saying that AI will suddenly overtake these people because yes, while AI might provide these different perspectives, even at status quo, artists, writers, they all prey upon the thing that is in trend, right? It's not like artists today, right? Like draw and make paintings like artists back in the Renaissance era, right? In the same way, AI will simply open new borders, new frontiers, so that human artists, writers, and collaborators can also hinge upon these new ideas that AI provides, right? Because AI, as a creative entity, is just another one, right? We aren't saying that it will overtake humans, and together, humans and AI in our world can achieve levels of innovation and expression that were once unimaginable, right? At Pano, AI-generated content can challenge conventional creative norms, introducing fresh perspectives and styles. This disruption encourages human creators to think outside the box and explore unconventional creative avenues, right? Even if obsessed companies will merely use AI to make artwork in the gov world, and in their world, artists will suddenly have jobs, right? It's just the same, right? AI is really the same when it comes to making art. It's just that in our world, it's more recognized, and in our world, it's actually recognized as a unique art source, right? We are not saying that all of a sudden companies will just hire AI, right? Because AI has its own style, and so does all these different artists, writers, and creators. They all have their own style. They're just hinging upon these new perspectives that AI will bring. On to my second point, which is that AI can generate creative content that's innovative and novel, that it can combine existing ideas and concepts in unique ways, creating art, music, and literature that humans might not have thought of, right? This ability to produce something new and different demonstrates creativity. what are some common truths that justify this? One, AI is not bound by traditional artistic or literary conventions, and that it can explore and combine ideas from various cultures, genres, and time periods. Two, AI can bridge the gap between different creative disciplines, right? And three, AI can generate countless iterations and experiments in a short amount of time, allowing for the exploration of a wide range of creative possibilities. So, how these truths then justify my argument? Firstly, we firmly believe that AI possesses the capability to redefine creativity. We are not saying that we are going to eradicate artists, we are going to eradicate music producers. We're just saying that AI has a capacity to redefine creativity. It has a capacity to be creative on its own, right? It's astonishing how AI algorithms can meld diverse ideas and concepts in unprecedented ways, right? They will be able to evolve the music culture, the art scene, the literary world, right? In ways that we can't imagine, in exponentially faster ways, in better ways, right? It will essentially allow for a progression in society, especially when it comes to these means of media, right? Ushering into a new era of innovation and originality in art, music, and literature. AI-generated content can surprise and inspire us with its novel interpretations. Secondly, from a practical standpoint, we see AI's efficiency and productivity gains as undeniable. It can generate creative content at an astounding pace, and the government's worst case scenario involving AI and creativity while acknowledging limitations and potential issues remains preferable to the opposition's best case scenario. In our scenario, AI's continuous evolution offers prospects for improvement and innovation, granting access to diverse perspectives, increasing creative efficiency, challenging traditional notions, and democratizing creativity, right? In contrast, the opposition's best case scenario, which seeks to limit AI's influence, may stifle progress, hinder the industry from achieving its true potential, and perpetuate ethical concerns without the potential for technological correction, right? Thus, the government stance retains advantages, and we have properly weighed this outweighing, and we believe that government's side outweighs the benefits that opposition holds, thus making it favorable for prop. And for all these reasons, proud to propose. Thank you.
I thank the speaker for remarks. The next speaker, you have 1 minute to prepare. That 1 minute starts now. Your 1 minute is up. Speaker, second speaker of opposition, you're here.
Right, thank you. Just check, am I audible and visually clear?
Yep.
Here, I'll set up my timer and begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panel, I would like you to notice the fact that side government's entire case relies on one specific strategy, which is strawmanning the definition of what it means to be creative and what it means to be a creative entity. This strawmanning is up to a point where it's gotten absurd. And why is that? They say that we are not saying that artificial intelligence will eradicate human artists because, you know, it's just a tool. But you may not have to be saying that, but it is what will happen. It is absurd to say that our case should be run on the fact that we shouldn't use AI at all, because 2 reasons. First of all, there is no all-encompassing way to do that. And second of all, AI is pretty much just a faster version and a self-organizing version of a search engine. It's not as if that even when you use AI, all those benefits that you detail will just magically appear. All those things are existing in the current world without AI. Through search engines, artists can go on the internet, find out what all other artists have done, compile it into their own version, and then infer something else based on of it. Rather, we think that the benefits provided by side government here are extremely shallow and nuanced and will not have a major effect in comparison to the harms that we detail to you. What is these harms? First of all, they say that our worst case is that AI is limited. Well, what is so bad with that in the art industry? They missed the nuance we provided you when we told you that the art industry is different because it relies on human satisfaction as well as human creativity, emotions, and endeavor to produce new and original content. If you introduce artificial intelligence into this, and under our definition, which we believe to be correct, which means artificial intelligence as a creative entity is separate from the humans and rather can produce its own art that is used by companies and other people, then you will have an art industry that is extremely one-sided to which company can develop art further. I'll prove this later in my argument, which is that even if art can be considered a creative entity, it should not. Why? Because it corporatizes art. The hypocrisy here is that when you consider artificial intelligence as a creative entity, it makes the art industry less creative. Why? Well, first of all, my first speaker has evidently proven to you why art needs that human touch, why art throughout these generations is different to other industries in the way that it has this creative aspect. We do not want to remove this nuanced benefit of the art industry and remove all satisfaction people get from the art industry by making artificial intelligence be able to beat every single human. We say that companies inside government's world will move away from a model of training better artists and providing people with new experiences that challenge their creativity to simply developing better AI or having AI that is programmed better just so that those AI can channel now new artworks and whatnot. So we think that the benefits they say about how artificial intelligence will challenge people's creativity is not mutually exclusive, is not exclusive to their world, but a mutual benefit, because on our world, you have companies and institutions directly training artists to be challenged and whatnot, whereas on their world, you simply train a search artificial intelligence engine to be able to do this. And even then, we say our side is the safer bet, because in their world, you have no guarantee that this will happen. We see that our side risks, their side risks are much more likely to happen, which is in the sense of companies simply favoring AI because it'll be much cheaper than hiring an artist as a creative entity to produce art. And we think that this AI, since it's able to churn out more content, will serve the interests of the company better. We, on the side opposition, tell you that we need to maintain the fact that companies need to work with artists. Why? Because artists run on this model to be able to continue being an artist. If you remove this money incentive, sure, it doesn't take away the satisfaction from art as a hobby, as a creative pursuit, but you see much less artists in the world because your parents tell you that pursuing art is not a good career because artificial intelligence has conquered it already. Which is why, for all those reasons, we believe artificial intelligence should not be considered a creative entity and would rather harm the community. We would like contention on our characterization by the third speaker of SideGov. Thank you.
Thanks, speaker, for your remarks. Now for the next speaker, you have 1 minute to prepare. 1 minute starts now. Everyone is now up. Third speaker of proposition, here.
All right, am I audible?
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Notice the fact that side oppositions in that case relies on strong-mining the definition of what it means to be creative, right? They propose a world wherein apparently now on our side, artists are suddenly jobless, and that companies are suddenly corporatizing art and training AI in order to make better art, right? But isn't it just mutually exclusive? Because on their side, they also have artists who use the same AI in order to enhance their own artworks, right? Because essentially, that thing is mutually exclusive when you look at it. They have put a very, very soft line here where they said that artists will still use AI when it comes to developing their art, right? We just straight up say that artificial intelligence is a truly creative entity. We say it can actually help progress the art scene and the music scene and the literature scene more than their bench. And we say that this is actually more positive on our side, right? Because overall, when you look at it, AI streamlines tasks, it sparks innovation, and expands creative possibilities, which allows artists to then use unique visions using what this creative entity AI has already made, right? Because while AI may mimic styles, it's still humans who at the end of the day can get to define them. We haven't eradicated the artists, we haven't eradicated the writers, we haven't eradicated these music producers, right? Humans can still define that that creative identity that AI has, right? AI just guides artists to some extent using its creative identity by essentially evolving the scene, right? By preserving the authenticity of expression. AI can birth new art forms, and human oversight will then ensure further that alignment with artistic goals, right? Because at the end of the day, artists are still there, right? But AI will also be there as a creative entity that also makes its own art, music, and literature, right? It's not like on our world, all of a sudden, companies will be training AI to make the best art. No, in our world, we will still be trying to evolve the art scene, the music scene, the literature scene as much as possible using AI as a creative entity, right? We are not saying that we are using the assistance of AI. In fact, we are hijacking Gov's case on this because when you look at it, it is innately on Gov's end wherein the benefits of their case comes out, right? Because when you look at it, their case is essentially artists using AI in order to make their works better, right? On our side, we haven't eliminated humans from the world. We haven't eliminated artists from the world. We haven't eliminated these music producers from this world, right? We're simply saying that AI is a creative entity and they have done nothing in their two speeches to prove that AI is not a creative entity. They have done nothing to prove why AI should not be considered as a creative entity. And through my third argument, through legitimacy, through I will prove why AI as a creative entity is better so it can be more accessible to all as for the preservation of culture as well, right? What are some common truths that justify this argument? That AI in creativity significantly enhances accessibility by breaking down traditional barriers to entry in the creative world, right? Now you no longer have to have a master's in art. You can simply draw inspiration from the creative entity that of AI, right? You can essentially draw inspiration from AI if you want to enter the art space, right? We are saying that we are making art better. We are making it more proactive, right? It empowers individuals of varying backgrounds, skills, and resources to engage in artistic expression. We are saying that artists and writers can use AI as a tool to explore their creativity, opening up opportunities for those who may not have had the access to formal training or expensive tools like art school. This inclusivity fosters a more diverse and representative creative landscape on our side, where a broader range of voices and perspectives can thrive, right? On the upside, you literally have exactly the same thing. We hijacked their case, right? But it's worse on their side. Those art is still an exclusive space, right? On our side, AI plays a pivotal role in preserving and promoting cultural heritage. And we have shown why AI is a legitimate actor as it also allows, most importantly, the preservation and accessibility to culture. How it can also be better than actual humans when it comes to creating this art, and most importantly, how humans can then use AI as a creative entity in order to learn more about art, and as well as the role that AI plays in safeguarding and promoting cultural diversity and heritage without evaluating specific scenarios or outcomes. And for all those reasons, I've never ever been prouder to propose. Thank you.
I then speaker have 5 remarks. For the last speaker of opposition, we have 1 minute to prepare. Or 1 minute starts now. Your moment is up. Top three, here.
All right. Am I audible and visible?
Yep.
All right. Thank you. I'll start my speech in set of time. Start my speech in 3, 2, 1. It's not strong and Thai debate, and I'll tell you what on our speech, on my speech here today, the fact that how which side have a clearer definition of creative entity. On side operation, they tell you how just AI is just called creative. On the other hand, on our side opposition, we tell that the creative entity has a specific meaning on the fact that how which is to exist independently from what artist and produce its own art. The fact that how we told is exclusive from our first speaker, second speaker, third speaker. The fact that how creative entity could be independent and also not independent and produce its own art. Right. Let me tell you first of all about the flaws of what side government has to play with all of this debate proposed in the first place. So number one, the reason why on side government we will backfire cannon than more than ever than what side opposition proposed is the fact that how company will start prioritizing art, which will lead to what is meant to be stated by my second speaker is the great replacement. On the fact that how they will end pathway for the great replacement because the fact that how AI would replace the job by its own human artist and all this stuff. Why do I say so? Number one, companies want money and money, cash is king. And the fact that how companies who find the most effective worker, no matter what, to make sure their revenue is highest, no. And the fact that how all of this in mind, keep in mind that all of these companies will tend to have a more incentive to hire AI than artists because why? Number one, AIs are cheaper. Number two, AIs can get better over time. And the fact that how even if artists will get better over time, they're still not as good as AI, which side government agrees on the fact that how AI is better than human, which this turns a bit table around. In which way, because of the fact that how AI is better than human, company are prioritizing it more than ever. They will ignore all this artists in the first place. That even if they were to not ignore all these artists or replace them, the fact that how most of the artists' job will be replaced, on the fact that how most of them will be impacted, and what does it affect? It affects the art industry itself, and then how the fact that how a human is an emotion creature, human is a society creature. The fact that how we are not meant to be thinking, but we're meant to be moved by our emotion. The fact that how art is, which linked to my first speaker point, which art is a human, and the worst which is we need emotion in creating art. In which way, the fact that how all of this is an entanglement, or the fact that how if we were to replace all these artists, remove all this emotion, replace human, the fact that how all this emotion we got, once the emotion is gone, the fact that how the art industry impacted with all and all forth. And the fact that how all this great replacement not just brings all of this harm, the fact that how you replace the artist, when the artist is replaced, what I mean, it means unemployment. When unemployment happens, instability happens, and all of this will blow the face in the face of the government because the fact that how they refuse to accept the fact that how AI is better than human. And even if we accept the definition on the basis of how this benefit will still extremely fall on their side work because of the fact that how AI, the fact that how it will be extremely small comparison to the risk, right? We tell you what happened inside opposition, we tell you what opposition had in terms of benefits, right? We tell you the opposition side, well, art industry is not disturbed. It is people can still work and earn money and do what they love to earn their money, but they are still being preserved on and for all. Number two, on the fact that how on side, which we tell you the artists can rely on human emotion to develop more arts and better the arts. And the future that relates to the point first speaker tell you social creatures. The fact that and also emotional creatures. The fact that number three, point on side opposition tell you that the fact that how side government failed to engage with our argument like we told you so far, the fact that how creative entity is different in our side. The creative entity is something that side of government fails to take account. And with that, let's look at worst case, best case scenario, right? The fact that how government side best case, they say that let's say that okay, arts goes to a better level, AI comes into play. But what the key here is as what with art there would be no subjectivity. The fact that how as art would always be subjectivity. The fact that how there's no quantifying for measure for how the art industry would be considered developed. The fact that how that would be their main flaws of today's debate, and the fact that how you could talk about offsets worst case, right? Offsets versus with the fact that how yes, the art industry will not be as good as opposition, but at least the peoples are preserved. They are the less risky option. The fact that how people will be preserved, and there will still be development of all of these artists, which means that we still have a ground, but not as great as side government, but at least people are preserved, jobs are preserved, and the fact that how artists are still making money, and the fact that how companies and corporations are putting money into prioritizing all of these artists more than ever. And with that, our side work is a less risky option with that vote side option. Thank you.
The speaker for final remarks, debaters, Simona virtually across the house. On behalf of the entire tournament, we congratulate everyone nonetheless. I think that regardless of the results, everyone should be proud of themselves, and we're happy to be able to judge you. So yes, after across the house, we feel free to leave the breakout room so the judges and I can deliberate. Okay, great. Once again, for everyone else who's still here, kindly leave the room so the judges and I can deliberate. So yeah, please leave the room so we can deliberate. Otherwise, we'll be the ones who will be leaving. Okay. Arcom and the spectator Dora, is it okay to please leave the room so we can deliberate? Thank you. Okay. I think there are inactive, like not on the front of your screens. Okay then. For judges, is it alright if we move to the very bottom breakout room, like at the room 30? Is it fine with everyone?